I call on Wayne Wood from the ASU, who is going to move a motion to deal with the federal funding cuts to Indigenous programs and the forced closures of communities. Thank you, Wayne.
Firstly, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. I'm Wayne Wood, I'm the Branch Secretary of the Western Australian Branch. Look, I speak in favour of the motion. I've got it there, basically, a sign saying stop the forced closures of Aboriginal communities. This is a shameful act by a shameful government. Basically, the effect on the community will be devastating. We are closing down social and community service groups. We are withdrawing funding. We are forcing people off the land. In their own country, they will become refugees. That is a shameful act. When we look at it, we see people that have lived on the land, they've been there all their lives. It is the only home they have ever known, and they are being forced off their land. There are a number of problems that come from this that will be felt for generations. People will move to regional centres and everybody will know the problems will be there in town. Already we have 250 registered homeless people in Port Hedland. Well, the reality is it's more like 1,000. In Broome, a city or a town of 15,000 people, there is another 4,000 homeless. This will grow. Refugees in their own land. Now, this isn't fair. This is a shameless government. They are a racist government. That's what we're here talking about today. Withdrawing funding from crisis shelters, where our members work, where women go in the middle of the night fleeing the worst of any situation. They are being now sent 200, 300 kilometres on dirt roads at night time, fleeing the worst possible situation to go to a crisis shelter that is full, to be turned away, to live on the beach, basically. I don't know if Tony Abbott knows anything about the bush. I understand he went and lived in a tent for one night. I think he should go to Port Hedland and try and sleep outside in October. Right, on the salt flat. Let's kick him out of his house. And that's what we need to do. It is a disgraceful act. Pushing Aboriginal people out of medical centres into mainstream will only see the average age for death of Aboriginal people go down, younger. That is an appalling thing. These people will be refugees in their own country. That's what he will do, and it is their country. We come and we say, when we talk, we pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land. Well, this government's got no respect for the traditional owners of the land. I was in Carafa last week. I went to Port Hedland. I stayed in Roban. That's where I was born. I spoke to a lot of the people there, and they tell me how they feel. They are feeling anxiety. They are depressed. They are facing the worst of situations. It will lead to alcoholism. It will lead to violence. There is already a large number of incarcerated Aboriginal people in prison, right? Poverty, forced crimes. And people do what they need to do because they need to survive. But we don't need to do this. Meanwhile, big end of town mining companies are salivating at the thought that they can just place more mining applications in. Last week I was told 26 mining applications go in for gas. Just happens to be coincidental, I bet. So, it's about a land grab, and it's forcing Aboriginal people off their homeland, the only home some of them have ever known. And how are the town centres going to handle it? Would it be Geraldton, Carnarvon, Carafa, Roban, Port Hedland, Broome, Derby, Fitzroy Crossing, or Halls Creek, Kununurra? Would it be Kalgoorlie or Leonora, Mount Magnet? Those towns will be inundated with homeless people. Where are they going to live? It's $2,000 a week to rent a house in Karratha. $2,000 a week. I couldn't afford to live there.
Delegate, I'm going to have to ask
I could not afford to live there. So, I understand we've got time restraints. I will move on. This is why I say that this government is despicable. They are cold and heartless. This is a cold and heartless act, and we need to kick them out, basically. So this is why I moved the resolution.
Thank you, Wayne. Beautifully said.